let's continue with the third chapter from your economics book of grade 9, and the name of the chapter is An Economy, Its Sectors, Basic Concepts and Entities. And today we are going to start from the market. We are going to start from here. Basically, we think market is a place where lots of shops will be there, and we can go to that marketplace and buy lots of things, and many sellers will be there. This is a basic concept we are having, but in economics they are telling that by the term market in economics, we mean a social system with the help of which the sellers and purchasers of a commodity or a service can come into contact with each other and complete the act of sale and purchase. For example, vegetable market, food grain market, automobile market, gold market, etc. They have given as example. Whenever there remain both demand for and supply of a commodity, there remains a market for that commodity in economic sense. So market for that commodity, for a single commodity we are talking here about, that in order to understand that the commodity is having market or not, we can understand with two factors. One is the demand for that commodity and the other is the supply for that same commodity. Characteristics of market: existence of both sellers and buyers. In a market, we will find that the sellers are selling and the purchasers are buying there. So that we can say it is a market. Next, contact must be established between the sellers and the purchasers. So there can be different kind of contact, and this contact can be established. You can say face to face contact can be there. Okay, they can negotiate in a marketplace, they can meet in a place and they can have a discussion with what is the selling price and what is the buying price they are going to fix up. And other way we can have is that they can establish the relationship over phone calls, over internet, over letters. And third type of communication can also be there through middleman, like for example Flipkart. Okay, the buyers are also there and the sellers are also there, and the Flipkart is just the agent which is acting as a middleman here. Next, the third point, establishment of economic and social relationship. Whenever the commodity is getting sold in a market, whenever the purchaser is buying something from the seller, it is automatically developing a relationship between the buyer and the seller. Okay, next, number 4 is a commodity usually has only one price in the market. This means according to the demand of that commodity, you can say the price is determined by the seller. The seller is not going to fix up a price which will be lower than the demand. Suppose the cost which is there, as much money he has spent to make that commodity, and the demand, according to this two, if he is in a profitable position, then only he will fix up a MRP. And if the seller is fixing up a MRP and the purchaser finds that the MRP is really high, he will never buy it. So they try to make one you can say equilibrium where they will buy and on how much they will sell. Okay, they are fixing up a price. You can say the MRP they are talking about here. Next, we are having classifications of market. Classification of market, you can say on nature of commodity. Okay, basically we are having 4 different kinds of market. We can classify into 4 different kinds of market, means 4 different ways we are going to divide. First one is classification according to the nature of the commodity, means which kind of commodity are we getting in that area, or you can say in that market, like fish market, cloth market, labor market, cosmetic market. Okay, these are the different kinds of market. Second one is classification according to geographical extent of markets. If a product is sold only in the local area, we will say that it is a product of local market. If that product is sold all over the country, we are saying the product is having national market. And if the product is transported, or you can say exported outside the country, that is it is being sold in an international market, so we will say it is an international commodity, right? World market, global market, or international market, it is the same thing. Next, time element in the morphology of markets. Here they are trying to explain us on the basis of time. Okay, very short period market means they are telling us about very short time, you can say few days, they're talking about few days. Supply cannot fluctuate within such a short time, means at a time whatever the supply is done for that commodity, no more supply can be increased or new supply cannot be done within such short time. The price changes according to the changes in demand. Suppose a product have been lost in the market within very short time, there is a huge demand and the product is already in demand, so the price will automatically increase because it is less in supply. Okay, and within such a short time the producer won't be able to produce more of that commodity. Next is short period market means the time span will be around 1 year or a few years. Supply can fluctuate only within the limits of the productive capacity of the existing farms in the market. The time required for setting up new factories is not allowed in such a market. So you can tell that both demand and supply play a very important role in price determination of such markets. Okay, so in short period market they are having 1 year or you can say few years, and the supply fluctuates because they keep on supplying and then the demand increases, again the supply, they keep on doing this, and already the existing farm is trying to manage it. Okay, and new farms or new factories are not getting developed in short period market. Long period market, in long period market you can say farms can set up new plants or factories, hence supply can respond fully to the changes in demand. So if there is an increase in demand, they are getting ample time to set up a new farm and satisfy the consumers. Number D, very long period of or secular market, they are having a very long time, and with this long time you can say the consumers preference, taste, or maybe the technologies, the social customs, or maybe there can be new launch of new products, so everything gets drastically changed. Okay, the resulting changes in demand and supply will have their full effect on price. So if the fluctuation is going or maybe the demand is in a negative way, then the demand for that product is decreasing, so price will also decrease, and the supply also, the farms will decrease. And if the demand remains constant, then the farms will keep on supplying in the constant way and the price will also remain the same. Okay, this you can say this viewpoint of time, the importance of time was highlighted by Alfred Marshall. Though Alfred Marshall have not divided these markets, but he have told that it is great important for the time element in this theory of value. Okay, he didn't use this term market. Next, the fourth one, this is very important, that is classification according to degree of competition. The most important classification of markets in business economics is according to the degree of competition. This degree of competition actually depends upon the power of an individual firm to control the market. If this control is nil, it is considered to be competitive market. In short, I will tell you, that is, if there is a farm or few farms and they are not able to control the market price of a commodity, that will become competitive market. They are having competition among themselves. But if there is a farm or there are group of few farms who is controlling the market price of a commodity, that is called imperfect competitive market. And if there is only one single seller who is controlling the supply of a single commodity, that is called the monopoly market. Next, we are having value. Value means whatever things we are buying, what is the value of that product to us. Okay, value in economics is value in use, and value in exchange. Value in use means whenever we are using it, what is the satisfaction we are getting from it. This is called value in use. For example, if you are thirsty, you will ask for water. So the value of water is more at that point of time. But value in exchange, if you take a glass of water to the shopkeeper and tell give me a pen, the shopkeeper will not give you that, right? So value of exchange means the product, if you just go and give it, in exchange you will get something. That is called value in exchange. Like for example, money is having value of exchange. If you take 10 rupees note and go and buy that pen, you will get that pen. Okay, so the shopkeeper in exchange of money giving you the pen. So that is called value in exchange. And value in use means whenever we are using it, what is the value we are getting, what is the satisfaction we are getting. So this point is not mentioned in your book, that is a paradox of value. Paradox of value means maybe it is not having high rate of value exchange, but it is having high rate of value in use. For example, water is having no value of exchange to us, but it is having a greater value of use. This is called paradox of value. Okay, and you can say the opposite one also can happen. Okay, if the use is low, like for example diamond is having high value of exchange but very low value in use. Okay, so this is called paradox of value. Next we are having price. The price of a commodity is the amount of money which can be exchanged for 1 unit of the commodity. Means in order to get 1 unit, or you can say in order to get that commodity, how much amount of money we are ready to spend, that is the price. Okay, price and value both are two different things. I told you just now what is a value. Okay, value means the utility they are talking about, and price is the amount of money we are paying for it. So both are two different things. Income, definition of income. Income, you can say it is the net flow of money, or you can, with that money that person will have the purchasing power or of this person for a certain period of time. Okay, we calculate income of a person for a certain period of time, like monthly income or daily wage, or you can say what is the salary or what is the per annum income, that is for the entire year. So this is income. Wealth means whenever the person is earning the money, he is not spending all the money he is earning, he is keeping something for his savings. This amount kept aside as saving is called wealth. Okay, next we are having national income. National income means whatever the total value, or you can say the aggregate value of all final goods and services produced by the residents of a country operating both the national boundary and the abroad is the in a particular year is called the national income. You can say in short that whatever products or services are being produced within the country using the natural resources, or whatever the income done from the abroad, all this when it is added together we are getting the national income. And per capita income is the average income of every citizen. How to find it? Per capita income is equal to national income divided by total population. That is the average income of every citizen. Hopefully you understood the chapter. Thank you.